Welcome back to another episode of the MissJudged podcast. This is your solo app for those who are behind the paywall. Love to see you. Again, I am your host, Alyssa, and welcome back to the MissJudged podcast. I know you guys are not new here because you have definitely listened to the non-paywall things. So I very much love, appreciate, and just adore you. So I'm going to give you guys what a lot of people have been asking me for. I'm just going to keep it to the, select few because I get this question a lot in the DMs, and I definitely got this question. And I got a lot of discourse around our episode where we did about the first date and dating apps in general. So a lot of people ask me like, Alyssa, after a first date, I don't get a second date. So what could I be doing, or what is going on where I'm not getting second dates? Because I'm getting first dates and I'm just not having luck getting a second date. Like they're just not progressing the way I want. Okay, ready for this? I'm gonna unpack it because reminder, this show I started this show truly for the men. I started this show for the men because, oh my gosh, where my guy friends will tell me things, and yes, I have many guy friends, and oh my God, when they would just say things to me, I'd be like, baby, sweetie, honey, who's giving you your advice? And they'd be like saying every man under the sun, a celebrity, a comedian, whoever. Why would you get your advice about how to date, fuck, marry a woman from a man? Okay? Like that doesn't even make sense. If I want to know about cats, am I going to go ask somebody who's never owned one? Okay, so why are we out here getting our advice from people that don't have a vagina? It's perplexing. I know some women are hard to listen to. I'm not your girl, okay? But I will always keep it very fair. I shit on the women just as much as I shit on the problematic men. There are problematic women and there are problematic men, and I'll always shit on both. I'm an equal shitter, equal opportunity shitter. You always know what you're getting with me. I'm going to hate on anyone in the equation that's problematic. I don't care who you are, what your race is, and what you got between your legs. I will hate on you if you're problematic. End of story. Thanks coming from my TED Talk. Okay, so now that we've settled that I do actually show up for the men, I wanted to tell everyone why you're not getting a second date. Okay? So if we remember the first date episode, there were a lot of things I did not elaborate on. Okay? That was back in the day. That was season 1. That was when we had the co-host Teresa, whom I adore. But now that I am solo, I can speak very freely. Okay, so why you're not getting a second date? You didn't do the things leading up to the first date, I promise you. Again, to reiterate, because for those who don't remember, communication before the first date is insanely important. You have to be slightly intentional. I hate that fucking word because you guys on the internet literally ruined it for me. Everything's intentional now. It's like the worst word ever next to boundaries. Don't get me started on that one. And trauma. All 3 of those words. Throw them in the trash. And by the way, enjoy the light New York scenery in the background, guys, because the city just never gets quiet. So why you're not getting a second date usually is because you had shit communication on the first date. And why I say this is it's insanely important to maintain some type of conversation with somebody before the first date. Do not fucking blow me up. I don't know you like that, sir. And women have an ounce of chill, okay? That's not your man yet, all right? So have a little bit of convo. Act like you are very interested in me. I don't care if you don't know how you feel about me. That's the point of a first date. But do not set a date with me on a Sunday and then proceed, and it's a Monday, and then proceed to not speak to me until the day before. Sir, I don't even know you anymore. I barely already knew you the first time we set up the date. So if you're having zero interaction with me and we've set a date for days later, I already feel like you're not that interested. So why am I excited for that date anymore? And likewise, you're clearly not excited. What the fuck are we doing? I don't want to leave my house and waste my Sephora for somebody who can't even be bothered to remember I exist. So a little light conversation Remember, I got shit on for saying this on the internet. I hate how's your day text, but that is better than fuck all silence, okay? You could be like, how's your dog? Oh my God, this snow is atrocious. Look at all the dog piss everywhere. Like, you can see it now, like you could make jokes. You could send a meme. You know what? If you lose somebody because you sent a meme or said something that wasn't funny, fuck that person. But if you're so afraid to have a conversation with that person because you think that's going to happen, then clearly you are dealing with someone who may not be your person. But like light conversation, be a little intentional about it. Act like you kind of want to see me, even though you don't know me. But like, I do not expect you to be obsessed with me. Women, I need you to hear that. This man doesn't know you. He's not going to be obsessed with you. If he's giving you that, he's full of shit, love bomber, and he is going to try to take your pants off. Okay. So like, men, do not be so busy that you can't shoot me an occasional text to let me know that you are very interested in going on a date with me. Because if 6 days pass, I never hear from you, the last thing I want to do is put on my outdoor pants to go see your ass. And no, we don't want you for a dinner, okay? If you're dating broke women, that's on you. Say it loud, say it proud. Okay. I think that we've closed the gap a little bit. We can all feed ourselves. So like, again, no dinner on a first date. Don't go to dinner on a first date unless you've met this person, had some type of interaction with them where you could sit through a dinner. Don't be out here agreeing to 2-hour dinners with people that you've exchanged 3 messages with on Bumble. Okay. You're setting yourself up for failure. So communication before the date, super important. Again, choose the date, men. We're in heterosexual relationships in this chat right now. Look, I'm speaking for the heteros. Men, plan the fucking date. It's not that hard to open table and make a resi for 2 at the bar or whatever the fuck. But please do not pass it off. If the woman is being so difficult about where she wants to go for the first date, why are you even dating her? Okay. There's plenty of reasonable women out there that are just like, I don't want to go 80 miles out of my way and I want to feel safe. Done. I don't want to be somewhere that's slightly ratchet. Okay. But if you're 21, you got to go with it. So set the date, have this light communication, show up like you gave a damn. Okay. Put a little effort into the outfit, just a little. Okay. Make me feel like you took 20 minutes to get ready, but maybe you took 5. Okay. Just look presentable. That's all we ask. Look presentable. Look like you put on fresh deodorant, spritz of cologne. Look like you fixed your hair. Look like you pulled out your less wrinkly shirt. Please, just a little effort. Because then I'm like, oh God, he showed up for me. Remember, you wouldn't roll into a fucking interview with a potential boss looking a hot ass mess. And anytime I've interviewed somebody who looks a hot ass mess, guess who doesn't get the job? Okay. Same thing on a date. Look presentable. Women, you don't need to do a everything shower, redo your hair, blah, blah, blah. Just look nice. Just smell nice. That it. Okay. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. Oh, we overcomplicate things in this society. We really do. What are we talking about on a first date? Let me tell you what we're not talking about. We're not talking about your trauma and your bad divorce and your complicated relationship with your parents. Leave your fucking traumas behind you. Okay. This is a fun time. This is here for fun. You can ask questions like to see if you're aligned in what you want to get out of dating. Okay. You can ask those types of questions. Don't fucking third degree me. Like, do you want to live in the burbs in 10 years? You want to have 4 kids with me? Like, I don't know you, sir. I don't know about that DNA. That's for sure. But you want to make sure you're not wasting your time. Hopefully, like I previously mentioned, we've asked these questions before, but like you can lightly touch on like, so like, how long were you single? Like, tell me about your job. Like, I want to like, do you think that you want to do this forever? Or like sometimes people have like a passion project they're hoping is going to turn into their career. Get to know this person a little bit. Get to know more than off their LinkedIn. Get to know more than their Instagram feed shows you. Like, get to know a little bit more. But again, we're not going to sit here and therapize each other for the fucking first hour we know each other. Let's not do that. I one time had to sort a man out because he was insecure about his height. First of all, don't show me your insecurities on a first date because I'm a confident queen and I can't be surrounded by insecure men because I will eat you up and spit you out. So If you're already showing me that, that's so unattractive. Like, keep it together for 1 hour, just 1 hour. We are keeping it together for 1 hour, please. It's not hard to do that. 1 hour. We are asking conversational questions that are engaging. We are not sitting here having a podcast like I'm having right now where I'm talking to you. You can't ask me a question. That's not how I should feel on a fucking date. This is not who I am on a date. I'm not going to sit here and talk at somebody for an hour. How is that fun for the other person? So do not sit there and just regurgitate your whole life's resume to somebody and never ask them a single question, because that seems so self-absorbed. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've been on a first date with a man and he is just talking about himself. Oh, first of all, I never cared that much. Like, number one. Number two, you have just shown me who the star of the relationship is, and it ain't me at all. This is going to be a one-person show. Okay, so like, try to pretend like you give a fuck about getting to know me slightly. Ask me a few questions, please. Like, and by the way, that's how you have conversation. I know we've gotten that twisted in society, but conversation typically flows when two people are having a little positive tete-a-tete. Okay, it doesn't have to be contentious. You're not supposed to bring up politics on the first date. If it means a lot to you, you should ask that before the date, but do not have a fucking political debate on your first date. Okay, we're having fun times only. We're not talking about the demise of humanity, and we're not talking about the apocalypse. So like, let's just leave all of the negative shit out of the first date. Sometimes it's fun to commiserate for 2 minutes. Let it be there. Truly though, don't be negative. Do not fucking railroad the conversation by keeping it 100% about you. And do not forget to ask that person questions. With the questions though, I will say, and I don't want you guys to overthink this, but I feel like I'm going to say something that might make people be like, well, I don't know. You're saying ask questions, but then you can ask too many. Yes. If I feel like I am in a rapid fire LinkedIn interview, like, well, what was your last job? Well, when are you, what do you want to do next? So tell me about the pod. So like, what's going on with your family? Do you want children? Do you want to live in the burbs? Like, oh my God, like, ask questions, but don't make it a fucking 20 question affair. In the middle of a few questions, you could be like, oh my God, this drink is so good. How did you find this place? I like love it. It's so cute. Just like normal shit, you know, just don't be so intense. Like, the intensity on a first date can sometimes very much scare somebody if you're just peppering them with questions, talking nonstop, being super forward, touching all over them, all this. Just be fucking chill, all right? And if you're not chill at your core, I'm going to say something right now. Practice makes perfect, okay? When I was 13, my mom made me model. And if you saw me at 13, you would think that's the funniest shit you've ever heard in your life. Who signed me to a modeling agency, by the way? I was so ugly. And they were teaching me how to walk a runway. And you know what I did? I'm 5'2", but I can walk a runway better than some of these 5'9" girls. And you know why? Because I fucking practiced. I practiced that half turn. I practiced that full turn at the end of the runway. I practiced my ass off. You see me walking down Fifth Avenue and I'm just existing with butters. Let me tell you, the strut is good, okay? Because I practiced. That's what you should do. If you're like, I think I don't know how to have eye contact with somebody in a way that's not intense. I feel like I'm an introvert. I look at the floor. I want you guys in the quiet deadness of your room, of your apartment, of your home, when you are alone, get out that phone, prop it up, and practice your cringe. Please, please. Nobody is there to judge you. It is just you. See how you come off. Maybe you don't know. I mean, look, I'm in front of a camera all the time. And when I'm in front of the camera, let me tell you what I realized. I was like, some of this filler needs to be removed. Okay. Like, I am sitting here, like, you don't always see yourself the way that other people see you until sometimes you're shown it. And you're like, the first time I heard my voice on a voicemail, it's funny, I have a podcast because I used to hate my voice. The first time I heard my own voicemail recording played back when I was recording it, I was like, why don't I just fucking kill myself? Like, this is the worst voice ever. So like, I had to practice. You've got to get over stuff. You've got to learn yourself. That's how you have awareness of who you are. Who are you going to represent on a date if you don't even know who you are or have awareness about what you offer and how you come off? Okay, so that's it. Conversation is king. Eye contact that doesn't make me feel like you're going to take me in your van and murder me. And also that you're so fucking uninterested because you're just looking at the floor. Okay. I highly, highly, highly recommend everybody watches the body language video that's dropped with Linda Clemens, because she will tell you in the first 7 seconds of meeting someone, sometimes people will make up their mind. Now, you can break that in the next 47 minutes you spend with somebody for sure. But if you're sitting with your arms crossed and your energy sucks with your body language, well, that person's going to think you hate them. And that's why they're not texting you afterwards. So definitely check that one out. Body language is key. Sometimes when I'm really liking someone on a date and I kind of can't tell if they're into it or if they know, when we're having conversation, like if we're sitting across from each other and his arm is on the table, I'll lean in and I'll like laugh at something and I'll like kind of like lightly touch his arm and I'll be like, oh my God, that's so funny. I literally can't. And like that little light touch is like so static sometimes to people. Like it's like lightning. And also if they're sitting next to you, sitting at the bar, you like lightly tap their knee like, oh my gosh, you know, I mean, men do that shit with caution because you don't want to come off as a predator. All right. But you know, eye contact, a little bit of twirling the hair, girls. Like, let's be flirty. Let's remember that this is fun. It's not always your partner. It's not always your partner. It's not always your wife. It's not always your husband, but maybe it's a fun time. Maybe it's an adventure. It doesn't need to be bad. So how you're showing up on the first date is so insanely important. If you did not hear from that person for a second date, what the fuck did you do wrong? That's what you're saying. What did I do wrong? If you liked them, usually human instinct is initially to be like, what did I do? I fucked it up. Something went wrong. Okay. All right, let's unpack that. Maybe you did do something wrong. Maybe you showed up with bad breath and you looked like shit. Maybe you didn't carry any conversation. Maybe you had nothing to say to that person and they felt like they were carrying the entire conversation because you're shy. Maybe that's not your fault. But I'm going to say something that introverts are not going to like, and this is coming from an extrovert, so I'm very aware of how this sounds. But let me tell you, I can be the world's biggest introvert if I'm not into something. And if you put me at a networking event, you'll see your girl is so introverted. Like I cannot walk up to strangers and be like, hi, I'm Alyssa. I own Alenado Events. How are you? Like I would rather stick a skewer in my eye, swirl it around. Okay. So I get it, but you got to grow up. You got to grow up because being shy as an adult is actually doing you a disservice. It's doing you a disservice. You got to fake it. Fake it. If it's hard for you to talk to somebody, how are you going to meet your partner? Truly. Like I knew someone and their partner was so shy that every time that we were around them, they were never speaking. And I'm like, look, it's to the point where it feels rude. Like you got to just sack up and be a little bit of an adult occasionally. If you're introverted like that, it comes off to others as rude. So like practice just relaxing, practice talking to people. There's nothing that's going to be said that's going to like hurt you. If you say something and this person finds you odd, fuck that person. You want that person? You want to marry that person? You want to marry the person you said one wrong thing to who wrote you off forever? Fuck that person. That's not your person anyways. Why are we crying? Okay. So another reason why you probably didn't get a second date is maybe you came into the date and you were late. That will really piss people off. I tell you. Let me tell you though, if a woman or a man is super interested in you, there's really nothing that you could do on a first date that wouldn't get you a second date. So if you're not getting a second date, that person was on the fence already and you might have done no conversation, showing up incorrectly, whatever. Also, please remember that you are not the main character in someone else's life. So you could just not hear from somebody because they were talking to someone else and they became exclusive with that person. And maybe their dog died. Maybe their mother is sick. Maybe they have to move apartments. They lost their job. It's not always about you. So I want you to remember that. If you're not getting a second date with somebody, maybe they had shit happen. Okay? A third thing is, you're not getting a second date. Why the fuck would you want one? I can't tell you. There's been a few times where I've been like, oh, you know what? Whatever. That person wasn't interested in me. That's kind of shitty, but whatever. Shit happens. But also, like, I have never sat at home and been like, why? Because why the fuck would I want somebody who doesn't want me? Gross. Gross. Ugh. Gross. Men, if women aren't giving you a second date, fuck that girl. And girls, if the man isn't giving you a second date and you're on a bunch of them, fuck those guys. Because you're probably fucking awesome and they probably have the personality of what my dog left on the sidewalk this morning. Okay, so just don't forget that. Pick up your self-esteem and hold it up high, because some people are just not meant for you and the universe will always take the trash out for you. Just remember that. I live within 7 blocks of 2 of my exes, and guess what? To this day, and I will never run into them. You know why? The universe was like, we're done here and you never need to see that person again. And same thing with your shitty date that didn't text you afterwards, okay? The one thing that I want everybody to understand about getting a second date is I need you to all go back to the episode where I explain how to screen your dates, okay? Because this is the number one reason why I think a lot of people do not get a second date. Look at yourself and who you are chasing. I'm not going to sit here and not tell people to date their type, but if your type is a bad pattern of people that have been toxic, you might need to, as George Costanza said, do the opposite. Because why are we out here redoing patterns, trying to chase the same person over and over and over again? For what? For what? You want people that are unattainable. You want people that are emotionally closed off. You want people that are not looking for the real thing. Why are you perpetually going after a toxic pattern? That is a huge fucking thing a lot of people do not even think about. They're always just like, I did something wrong, or this person didn't like me. Maybe you just keep dating the same woman over and over again. Maybe you just keep dating the same shitty man over and over again. Oh, he's 6 foot. Who gives a fuck if it's the same dude over and over again? We need to look at how we are screening our dates, okay? How are you screening your dates? If one thing isn't working, do the opposite, okay? I had to learn, and I have been on apps 100 years. The one thing that I had to learn the hard way was I am a one-dimensional app person. I don't fill out prompts with paragraphs. That shit is super tired. I have ADHD. Asking me to write a paragraph on a dating app? Absolutely not. But I'm not leaving it blank. But I'm also not showcasing my whole personality in one sentence. Who's doing that? So people will just see my photos, and the photos are cute. So people will just think of me as somebody who has probably a calm, quiet personality, just pretty and whatever. But then they talk to me and hang with me and they're like, oh my God, you're like so different than I am. Yes, I have a whole personality. I am more of an IRL girl. I do not thrive on the apps because my real personality shines in person. And some people need to come to that realization. If you're not meant for the apps, get off the apps. Go to a bar. Join a run club. Get on Bumble BFF, make friends with their friends, date their friends. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, seriously, some of you guys have to use the apps. And for that, I'm saying get better at screening your dates. Get better at screening your dates, because that, I will tell you, is probably the number one problem that you are inflicting on yourself and why you're not getting that second date. And the last thing that I'm going to say about it is, if you're not getting a second date over and over and you're like, Alyssa, I'm putting in an Altoid, I'm showing up correct, I'm on time, I'm texting, I'm taking them to dates, I'm just I feel like I'm doing everything right. And I feel like I'm doing it with people that I feel like I'm doing it with this person that's not my pattern, and this, I'm doing everything right. I feel so frustrated, Alyssa. Like, why? I will tell you a story that I've told before, but I'm going to tell it again because I want to be really, really crystal clear with how I felt like this was the greatest thing that somebody has ever done for themselves, probably. I went on a date with a guy who was attractive, had a great job. He was conversational. He kept the conversation on our first date was mostly about him, I will say, which was number one turnoff for me. But all he did was talk about how his ex did not get along with his friends and she didn't want to come out partying with them, and they partied here and they partied there and they partied all over the place. And I heard this as homeboy is a party boy, and I am not that girl. I'm an extrovert when I want to be. I'm an introvert when I want to be. I'm a lover girl, whatever. But I'm not going to be out in the club every night. That's not the life I'm signing up for with my partner. So I heard his stories. I was smiling and I was being engaging. But I was just like, this is not my man, right? This is just not who I want to be with. We're not aligned in how we spend our time. And I don't want to spend my time in a relationship 99% of the time with somebody else's friends. Been there, done that. I'm not in my fucking 20s. I'm dating you, sir, not your friends. So I did not reply to him after he asked me for a second date via text, by the way, which I always think if you're interested, tell me on the fucking date. Tell me before I go home. And try to set up a second date before I even leave your site, because a text is great. Not when it comes 4 days later, and not when it comes a week later. Sir, I don't even know you anymore. So anyways, he sent me a text the next day. I want to see you again. I didn't reply because, I can be a piece of shit sometimes. I'm just going to be honest. So he sent me the text, didn't reply. And then 2 days later, he sent me a text. And guys, any human with empathy that isn't a piece of shit will reply to this text, okay? I could never get a text like this and not reply because it was so earnest and truly made me feel like I have to give this guy something. So men and women, please do not be shy and do this tactic, because I will tell you, some people won't reply, oh, bullet dodge, they were a piece of shit. The nice ones will reply. He said, I really enjoyed our date and I'm just wondering where I went wrong here, because, I've been on a few dates with people and I'm just wondering why I'm not getting second dates, and I'm wondering if you can just tell me where I went wrong. I thought that was I actually almost was like, let's go out again, because I was like, oh my God, the EQ was actually attractive, but then I was like, Alyssa, that's not your man. And I was really honest with him. I said, look, you're a nice guy and I had a good time with you, but I just don't think that we're on the same page as far as like, you seem to really want to go out and party with your friends, and it was just kind of off-putting for me. So I would say if you're really trying to be in a relationship with somebody, you want something serious, like I wouldn't lead with that on a first date, because that read to me as you're not really in a phase of life right now where you're trying to have like a serious relationship. And he was like, oh my gosh, thank you. I mean, he did then try to talk me like, oh, no, you totally misread. I'm like, nope. Devil never changes spots. All right. So don't let them, kind of whip you back in with that unless you really read a situation wrong. But I think that if he's smart, we're giving a lot of credit to people here, but if he was smart, he then went into the next first date and he did not lead with, I party with my friends every fucking day until 3 a.m. Okay. There is no shame in asking somebody a question. What the fuck do you have to lose? If you're going on a bunch of dates and you're never getting a second date, I encourage you to shoot that person a quick text. Don't argue with them and don't be a fucking dickhead about it. P.S. Like, somebody will only reply if it feels earnest. I had a great time with you. I'm just wondering where I went wrong, because maybe I've had some trouble getting a second date and I just want to know what I'm doing wrong. So like, please let me know. I promise you somebody will reply to that. I promise you. But where you should just leave it is just hear them out and take it and like go with God. Okay. Because don't sit there and try to like tell somebody, oh, you read the room wrong or whatever, and try to like reel them back in. Like, their decision is their decision. They're probably not coming back from it, but take the information, take the intel and tweak the approach. Like, there is nothing to lose. I don't care if you went on a date with somebody 6 months ago. If you could text them right now and be like, you know what? I had fun with you and I was just wondering where we went wrong on our first date. Do you mind telling me so I can just adjust? Like, who gives a fuck if a random stranger is like, that's so weird. Oh my God. What are they going to do? Tell Page Six? We're going to put out a story about it in the Post? Who gives a fuck? Like, stop caring what everybody's thinking. Oh my God. You guys, my life didn't start until I was 18, because that's when I stopped giving a fuck. I stopped a lot younger than most people do. I went to college and I was like, your girl is going to reinvent herself and she's just going to be who she's always wanted to be. It's the most freeing way to live your life. Don't be a dickhead about it, but like, please stop being so afraid of people. Ask. You do these things, you're getting a second date, okay? But like, screen properly. Don't be horrible on the first date, duh. And if you're really running into a wall, ask, what did I do? Please tell me. That's it. So, you know what? I love you guys. I love this community. I really love that you guys are allowing me into your ears and your eyes. And I really hope that you have fun on the Patreon. You know, I really want to learn. I want to give you guys what you want. So please DM me if you feel like something needs to be fixed, whatever. I'm all ears. Like, this is how you build a community. So y'all are the community, and I very much appreciate you. So tell your friends, tell your enemies. Thanks for coming to the MissJudged podcast. Like, subscribe, and bye, guys.